Welcome, my friend. Friends, Romans, countrymen, lend me your ears. It is time for another live stream here on my channel, Gavin Fish, which is my name. We'd like to cut through all the fluff, the sensationalism, and just do straight nitty-gritty true crime. Do you like my karate chops? Oh! What's funny is that I studied Shotokan karate for many years. I never once learned how to go hiya, and that never happened one time. And yet here I am doing it. Must just come natural to me. Hey, before we get started, okay, want to make sure that everybody's here. I know that there's like a pre-roll of advertisements that come in, but we had, Ashton has been working so hard. Ashton's a member of my team. She's been reaching out to different brands, and I am so happy for the new sponsor that we have of the show. I know that you guys need to be patient while we go through it, okay? I really hope that you will support this brand because they're supporting the show, okay? I prepared something. Here you go. Are you constantly narrating your own life like it's a Dateline episode? Do you whisper, "The husband did it," at weddings? You may be one of the millions silently suffering from a condition known as True Crime Brain Syndrome, or TCBS. But now there's hope. Cluvelta, the first semi-legal, questionably tested treatment for TCBS. Cluvelta helps restore balance to your life by gently replacing your obsession with murder with an obsession with real estate shows. Cluvelta users report fewer murder boards, shorter Reddit rabbit holes, and an increased ability to trust their spouses again. Maybe. Side effects of Cluvelta may include watching cooking shows and actually following the recipes, trusting your neighbors not to be serial killers, starting a knitting club, and accidentally solving local crimes anyway, hallucinations of Keith Morrison narrating your dreams, and in rare cases, mild interest in HGTV. If you experience sudden urges to say, "Let's circle back," or "This doesn't add up," discontinue use immediately and call your podcast co-host immediately. Cluvelta, because even you deserve to sleep without checking your Ring camera 12 times a night. So thank you to Cluvelta for bringing us this particular live stream tonight. I am very grateful. Cluvelta. I hope you guys have had a happy, April Fool's Day. I know it's a goofy tradition. It's goofy, but I don't know. Just every once in a while, we need a little jocularity now, don't we? And hope you guys enjoyed that because we're about to talk about something serious. Okay, got it out of us. Maybe we need a little transition music. Hang on a second. Okay, now we're gonna be serious. Whew, guys, we're circling back around. Yes, I said it. I said we're circling back around to the Maddie Soto case. Okay, I've been thinking about this quite a lot. Thinking about Maddie quite a bit. We've just spent a little over a week listening to phone calls that Stephan Stearns made from the Osceola County Jail, I think that's where he's being held, to his folks. And we've only heard them basically through June of last year. I'm sure there are way more that we will eventually get to listen to. But we learned a couple things. Just off the top of my head, we learned that, well, and I don't know that this part is really new information, that one, Deb Stearns is no fan of Jennifer Soto. I've definitely learned that Deb Stearns believes that her son did not act alone, that they believe that maybe she checked in to a facility to treat her mental health issues, maybe just for the purpose of getting out of the spotlight of us, our little community. What else did we learn? We learned that Stephan did say that it's complicated, that he had sympathy that she lost her daughter, but it felt to me that, like, at least their position is that Madeline was not a victim of just Stephan Stearns. So what I would like to do, maybe over the last couple of days, um, yeah, Autumn. Autumn, this is a great comment. I'm going to bring this in. She said, did you see the motion Stephan Stearns put in to not have the hearings recorded and to not have it released to the public? Yeah, and I watched the hearing. I read the motion. Maybe we should read that motion together. I know that it's kind of old news now, but as you guys know, I don't really care to be the first to talk about something. I just think that we ought to spend some time on the thing. So maybe we can do that this week. But today, at least, I want to circle back around to this conversation that Jennifer Soto had with police. This was the first conversation, and we've watched this. It's, what is it, 2 hours long, something like that, 2 hours and 46 minutes long, though there's a lot of it where she's alone, right? They leave. Oh, I guess no. It's 2 hours and 46 minutes of just them talking. Holy cow. Yeah, I forgot that I edited it down. So I would like to revisit this with the idea that maybe Jennifer's involvement isn't just passive, that maybe she took an active role in the last day, the last night of her daughter's life. Now, I just said, well, I like to cut through speculation, but keeping that in mind, I have to say that when I first watched this video, I didn't think it was possible that Jennifer could have been actively involved in it. To me, it was more of a, she was coerced, she was manipulated, she was not mentally equipped to deal with the predatory nature of Mr. Stearns. Do I have a, yeah, here he is in that hearing, Autumn. So at least for now, what I want to do is watch a little bit of this again with the idea that maybe she had an active role in this, which I hadn't considered the last time we watched this. So hopefully you guys are going to maybe stick with me a little bit on this. Let me see if there's a couple of comments before we really get into it. Challenge your wallet with Aaron Lynn says, Gavin, is there any way they're going to turn this back on Maddie and say she either OD'd or did this to herself? Where is that? This to herself because she had those marks on her neck. I honestly think that the defense's strategy is, and it's a recognized and viable strategy. I think their strategy is going to be like, no, he didn't do it, she did it. I think that's what the strategy is going to be if they take it to trial. I don't know if they will, though. Don't know if they will. TMI stuff. Gavin is our personal Duke Silver. Those dulcet tones. If only I could play the saxophone. Chlo says, I guess both parents stated in that podcast interview that they believe he was the sole perpetrator, so it sounds like their opinion has changed since these calls. Interesting. Let's see. Watching from Australia. Awesome. Bub Bun, was that you? Yes, it was me. Of course. I made the ad. Of course. You guys want to watch it again? Should we do it one more time? Let's watch it one more time. Where's my button? Here we go. Are you constantly narrating your own life like it's a Dateline episode? Do you whisper, "The husband did it," at weddings? You may be one of the millions silently suffering from a condition known as True Crime Brain Syndrome, or TCBS. But now there's hope. Cluvelta, the first semi-legal, questionably tested treatment for TCBS. Cluvelta helps restore balance to your life by gently replacing your obsession with murder with an obsession with real estate shows. Cluvelta users report fewer murder boards, shorter Reddit rabbit holes, and an increased ability to trust their spouses again. Maybe. Side effects of Cluvelta may include watching cooking shows and actually following the recipes, trusting your neighbors not to be serial killers, starting a knitting club, and accidentally solving local crimes anyway, hallucinations of Keith Morrison narrating your dreams, and in rare cases, mild interest in HGTV. If you experience sudden urges to say, "Let's circle back," or "This doesn't add up," discontinue use immediately and call your podcast co-host immediately. Cluvelta, because even you deserve to sleep without checking your Ring camera 12 times a night. Yes. That was my favorite part was Keith Morrison. Yeah, and Amanda thinks that Cluvelta is amazing. Yes. Well, how did I get roped in to going back? How did I get roped into doing that after I had already done a little palate cleanser with a little transition music? Let's do it again. Okay. All right, back to Maddie. All right, let's go over here. All right. Here we go. I'm going to go ahead and start this, and then I'll be going through your comments.
So, the goal, obviously, Kissimmee Police Department's doing most of this investigation. We're at the Orange County Sheriff's Office. Our people, we have resources out there, obviously doing active. So it's kind of a joint effort. So Detective Small is kind of ready to read through the timeline of everything else. Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday,
I remember. Yeah, this.
You want me to go through the whole timeline?
This was the day they found
Madeline's
body.
We'll start with Sunday. Take you through Sunday.
Okay.
You know what I want to do? I want to go to the part where he is challenging her. Right, every juvenile robbery suspect you interview, I was, in your words, medicated, in their words, high, incapacitated, drunk. It's an excuse to avoid admitting what happened. When you say you're medicated, I can't think of an amount of medication that will numb you so bad to numb the fact that the investigation is occurring right in front of your face, but you're missing. So being medicated is just an excuse to avoid answering why you didn't discuss with him what happened. It minimizes your guys' interaction by saying you were not fully coherent with the person I know who can sit in a car and watch a bunch of detectives and crime scene investigators and everybody else search her house, seize her house, and be so numb that somehow is not ringing bells, is not overcoming the power of this little medication. There's no way. The human body will overcome that in a big situation. You didn't take enough medication to numb you of the reality of what was occurring.
I mean,
there's no way. Unless you were fully incapacitated, there's no way you were so numb that everything he described to you, everything I described to you was not in the forefront of your mind. You weren't numb. Just like these robbery kids weren't blacked out. They weren't high enough to not remember the robbery. They just don't want to talk about it.
Yeah, Kimberly,
it wasn't clicking.
He's got a public defender.
It didn't click to me. Like you guys telling me like it wasn't as obvious, like this and that. I still believed the story he had told me that while we were sitting in the car. I still fully believed everything he had told me. I didn't doubt him. I really thought you guys were going after the wrong guy. I'm like, they're wasting time. The real suspect is out there. She's being sex trafficked. That was my biggest fear, is that she was being sex trafficked. I didn't think that she would actually be dead.
But she thought enough to get...
The way that she's talking about her daughter right now, I didn't think that she might be dead.
I really thought you guys
can't
were going
believe
after
that.
the wrong guy.
At that point, from the jump, we've been trying to find her. has been and will be our biggest priority.
Him getting arrested for victimizing her was an accident. We only discovered that she was a victim because we took his phone.
And I'm like so happy that happened, because if not, this would have continued to keep happening.
Well, it wouldn't have, because he killed her on Monday.
I'm talking about who she had been found. I don't know why. There's no, I've asked this before, but there's no like map you guys can show me of like with the highlighted route of where he could have taken, to see if I could recognize anything or suspect anything.
I can pull up a map on my phone the areas you described and we can go through it.
Sure.
It said House of Cards?
No.
House
Game rules.
House Games. It's on Vine Street in Kissimmee.
by Oak Street.
That House Game rules. Feel free to drag the map around as you please.
That's all of it. Oh my god.
And realistically, Florida has a lot of wetlands, so anything you see that's green may not necessarily be wooded, because maybe a rule, but we're looking more for where you think based off of his route, not necessarily just like green parts.
This whole moment, by the way, this whole moment is like she seems to be deflecting from what they're saying, right? Hey, you can't possibly be that out of it that you wouldn't know. Come on, what's going on? You're not drugged right now. We've been telling you hard things. And it looks like she's deflecting over to, can't you just tell me, give me a map? Let me take a look at it. Yeah, that's interesting, Karina.
In the back of House Game rules, I have access to the link. That is the one shop I can remember him specifically naming that he was going to.
He had cuffs on.
He said House Game rules.
I think that was the
Did he make it there?
upsampling of the image that kind of removed that. But yeah, he had cuffs on.
See, if we ever went down 192 together, it would typically be in this direction towards 535, towards Disney. That's why I find it really strange that you guys say St. Cloud, because I've never gone into St. Cloud with him before.
So you told me you have a friend in St. Cloud.
I do.
I don't know if he knows, but
Yeah, you're
explain
right.
to him
Carol, you're
where
right
she
about
lives,
that.
who she is. Explain that relationship to him, because I don't think he's aware of it.
No.
Oh, okay. So one of my really good friends lives off of Old Canoe Creek Road, off Nolte.
Okay.
Yeah, that's correct, Ashley.
I don't know what neighborhood though. She's one of my really good friends. She's somebody I know that lives in St. Cloud. She's one of like two people I know that live in St. Cloud. She's hung out with us, as in me and Stephan before. She's come over to hang out with me, and Stephan would be hanging out there too, so we would all kind of hang out together. But yeah, she's just a friend.
And you're 100% sure he's never been to her house.
Yes.
Do they have their own friendship? Or is it just that's your friend and the only time he ever talks to her or hangs out with her is with you?
Exactly.
This is a very good comment from Robin. Gavin, if a police officer asked me if my 13-year-old might be pregnant, I wouldn't react the way she does, like it's no big deal. Someone asked that. Great comment. The reason that I think that she responded the way she, well, no, let me put it this way. In my day job, you guys know that I'm a reporter. I'm not a court reporter, the guy that does the tippy-typey things. I am a reporter that attends court to report in a publication. I can often, like, if I'm going to a day at court and it's going to be an entire day long of hearings, they usually do sentencing hearings and plea hearings and special plea hearings and formal arraignments all in the same room, one after the other after the other. So all of the defendants, most of them, some of them are being brought in from the jail, right? And they're off in the corner, cuffed and shackled and stuff like that. But most of the defendants are seated in the gallery, and then they come up when their case is called. I can walk into a courtroom and I can look at the gallery, and with confidence I can say, that's a defendant, that's a defendant, she's a defendant, he's a defendant, there's a defendant, and then all the rest of them, yeah, that's family that's here to support, those are definitely cops, right? So, and the reason that I'm bringing that up is people who, in my area, most of the crime has to do with the drug epidemic. So it's either the crimes that they are committing by dealing drugs, or they are doing other crimes to be able to pay for their drug habit. You can just look at them and see they are a defendant. When charges are talked about, to me, they are shocking. Even having gone through several hundred of these, they are shocking, the things that people are found doing. And nobody else seems shocked anywhere in the courtroom. And the reason I'm bringing this up is this comment that the reason that they're not shocked is because it is part of their everyday life. They are around it. It is part of their existence every single day. Okay, so the reason I bring it up is Robin's comment. She's acting like it's no big deal that somebody asked that because it's just part of her life. That's what it feels like to me. It's just commonplace. That might mean that Maddie has been pregnant before. I'm not saying that I know that or even suspect it. I'm just saying it's possible that is the case. Jen talks about in her interviews how she has not been sexually active. She has not had sexual relations with Stephan or anyone in 2 years. And yet in her bathroom, there are all these pregnancy tests. Now, of course, there are 2 other women in the home, but it does just seem to me that for Jen, this is commonplace. This is just part of her life. And that might be because it's her past experience as a teenage girl, or it might be that she has watched Maddie have these experiences as she has grown up, which is just frightening. So, yeah, great comment. Great comment. Let's continue.
Just my friend, he would talk when she was around.
And you just told me about the second person saying, "God, who is that?"
Somebody I haven't seen in a long time. Her name is Courtney Brackman. She lives, can you pull up the map?
Mm-hmm.
But he's never been over to her house either.
Search.
Grace. No, they find her body about an hour after the end of this interview. But Welsh Rose, yes, she has seen the pics by now. Yes.
he lives somewhere in this area over here.
Yeah.
Around here. Lake Lizzie to me is familiar. I would go hiking there.
Yeah, I think what I just talked about is the reason.
There's a preserve there.
Yeah, a few years ago, we would go hiking all the time with my friend Courtney, the one who lives right by there.
With Stephan?
No, Stephan would never come.
Now, would you tell him you're going to Lake Lizzie Preserve?
I've mentioned it before, yeah, when we've gone.
Okay.
Yeah.
When we talked about St. Cloud and, he had asked for your top 5 places, why did this ever cross your mind?
Lake Lizzie?
Any of these places in St. Cloud that you're familiar with?
I mentioned them the first time St. Cloud was brought up. I mentioned my 2 friends that live there. And then, I don't know if I ever mentioned Lake Lizzie. Not sure.
Do you know if Lake Lizzie was special?
See, I don't know now, Yvonne. And, I mean, seriously, Beth Meeks is an incredible person and somebody who is more studied and experienced than I am with this. But, oh my goodness, like, it just feels to me like she has to be more than willfully ignorant. That's just the way it feels to me.
She did enjoy going out there.
Was she verbal about that?
Hey, I'm going to keep the supers for the end, guys.
You guys?
Because I've kind of...
She always told me that if we were to go hiking out,
I've kind of lost them in my system here, but I will get to them, I promise. And thank you for those supers. I appreciate it.
there to let her know, because I've gone hiking without her. But it's been a really long time since I've done a hike down Lake Lizzie with her.
I think so, Dava.
Okay.
That's been at least
Welcome back,
2
Lily.
years.
Yeah, I did an episode on the pregnancy thing. Whether Maddie was pregnant or believed she was pregnant, it wouldn't really matter. If she believed it and she told Stephan, that could be a reason for some kind of motivation to start a physical tussle. Definitely. I mean, you guys know I've talked about there's really no need for motive, but in a criminal case, but that could be part of it.
Yeah, those are the only places in St. Cloud that I would know, that I could think of, that he might be aware of, but
But your gut tells us no.
Lake Lizzie, probably not. Like, does he even remember what the name of Lake Lizzie is? Probably not.
I have the button. Here you go. Sorry about that.
Jen, is it okay if I look up past particles again?
Yes.
I believe it was her biological dad who said that they learned that Maddie was not pregnant. But again, whether she was or she believed she was, it would ultimately have the same motivating factor on Mr. Stearns, I think. Maybe Bruno.
Was he in the video games?
Yeah.
Yeah.
World of Warcraft, into tabletop games like Dungeons and Dragons and Warhammer 40k, card games like Lorcana, which is a Disney card game. That's what he told me he was going to go do Monday. He was gonna go look for Lorcana cards, and that's why he was gonna go to House Rules Gaming. He was just gonna make a few stops, and I said, "Why are you doing that? Why are you wasting time?"
I want to address this comment. This is a fair and good comment from Janice. Why are people believing anything that scumbag says? I personally believe he will say anything to be. Oh, you're saying to be honest. I think he'll say anything. I don't know that we're. Well, there are probably some people that believe him. You're probably right. I don't believe him. I, however, also know that the truth is always scattered in with the lies. That's the best way to tell a lie, is to put a little bit of truth in there. And so, the hard part is distinguishing between the lie and the truth.
When we don't have money, like you don't have money to spend. He's like, "Oh, I'm just browsing. I just want to look. I want to see what they have available." That's all he said. Every time I did question him, he always had an answer.
Maybe. So Rosalie, I don't think that we have her reaction to finding out. But in this very interview, she does find out that they have changed their investigation from one of a missing person to one of a homicide. And her comment or her reaction was pretty measured. Now, the previous comment that we just had from Super Charismatic says, psych meds, especially for anxiety, cause emotional bluntness. That's their purpose. We know she's medicated, so her response makes sense to me. I've never witnessed somebody in my own life kind of receive really tragic news that might be on these kinds of medications. But I don't see them as like flatlining emotionally. I see, and maybe I'm wrong here, but the people in my life who take those medications, people that I love, people that I know, it basically makes their mood swings go from this to this, right? Their spectrum narrows, but there's still swings going on in there. With Jen, it's like it's a flat line, and that's why I have such a problem with this. Man, I just unfocused us. There we go. So, yeah, that's my opinion anyway.
Do you guys know, like, up until when on 182 you guys found him, see him? Like, how far down?
We just know it's St. Cloud.
It's not perfectly clear to me either, but I think it's Jen.
On 182, okay, it's got some secluded stuff in the background, or in the back of it, but it's still 182. It's still really busy.
Yeah, people have brought that up, Blue Butterfly. Yeah, you're right, Sophia. Amy, Pennsylvania. Gavin, I truly feel that Jen knew for sure that either Maddie passed away or she knew it was Stephan, what Stephan was doing, I think is what you're saying to Maddie, but I'm not sure Jen knew of both of those things. Could be completely wrong. Okay?
And it's all really busy till you pass St. Cloud.
Look at the police officers in this. Look at their, like, what are you doing? They're thinking, lady, what are you doing? They will be witnesses in the trial. Just look at them. They're like, just let her stew. Just let her stew. Look how annoyed he looks. Just look how annoyed he looks. Yeah. I'm going to pause that there, guys. It's just, I wanted to watch this in light of the half-truths, partial truths, mostly lies that we heard from Stephan Stearns. Yes, I think he's guilty. But I just don't see a world in which Jen Soto is not involved. I just don't see it. Let me go over to the super chats because I can filter all those out. I appreciate you guys. Let's see. Purple Smurf sending a super chat. Thank you very much. Figaro says her reactions are well mentioned by one of the law enforcement officers telling her he feels she is not being sincere. Yep. Claudie with the super sticker. Thank you very much. SJ, the super sticker. Thank you very much. Grateful. You are both grateful and gritty. Well, listen, I am grateful for you. You say late to the live, dang it, but glad I made it in time to be supportive. Thanks for the thoughtful, thorough coverage of Maddie's case. Well, that is definitely my pleasure. Thank you. Let me just go back. See, yeah, my system doesn't. Now it won't highlight the GFs. I knew that would happen. Guys, what do you think? I mean, maybe tomorrow what we can do is go through the motion that Stephan Stearns, through his lawyers, submitted to keep media out of the pretrial stuff. Now, we know that motion was denied, but there are probably some nuggets in there. So I think that's probably what we'll do tomorrow. So that will be at 7:30 p.m. Eastern time tomorrow. We'll continue on with Maddie's case. There are a couple of other cases that are getting some attention right now that are really important to me. The Kimberly Sullivan case, which we talked about yesterday. There's been a whole bunch of stuff released. I've been going through it, and we'll probably swing back around to that one later this week. Okay? Before we go, there are a couple more live chats, super chats that just came in. Christopher Jessup, the best lies are the ones wrapped in truth. That is correct. D. Reed says yes. Jen was involved. And Built to Help Art says, like and subscribe, peeps. Thank you very much, Art. I appreciate all of you guys for supporting me. Hey, I really, really appreciate Cluvelta for bringing you, in part, this discussion tonight. If you would like to continue the conversation, a great place to do that is on the Fish Tank, which is on Facebook. Just if you're on Facebook and it's your thing, just search for the Fish Tank. Another way to find it is go to gavinfish.com. There's a link in the description down below. Click on this little fishy right here. We've got some new merch in there. I got my Jammy Jams, my Sleepy Crime Fighter Jammy Jams in there. So you can grab those if you want. I think I will be adding a Cluvelta collection as well. So yeah, keep your eye open for that. I did see a couple. Let's see, one more. Thank you very much for that super chat, Christopher Jessup. All right, with that, guys, I will bid you adieu. Thank you very much for taking care of me. Thank you for taking care of yourself and each other. I hope to see you back tomorrow night at 7:30 p.m. Eastern, right here, where we will take a look at that motion by Stephan Stearns' lawyers. Until then, take care of yourselves. Good night. Thank you very much for watching this video. If you liked what you saw, please consider subscribing. And if you have any questions or comments, please leave them below.